CloudCenter has both simple and high availability installation architectures. In both cases, it's a distributed architecture with the following main architecture components. The CloudCenter Manager Appliance, also known as the CCM, that delivers the UI, governance, and policy. The CloudCenter Orchestrator Appliance, also known as the CCO, that interprets the application profiles into Cloud API commands. The CloudCenter RabbitMQ Message Broker Appliance brokers communications between managed infrastructure and the orchestrator. Lastly, Guacamole, which provides HTML5, SSH, and remote desktop functionality. A simple installation consists of one manager appliance, one orchestrator appliance per cloud, one RabbitMQ appliance per cloud, and one Guacamole server per cloud. In simple installations, Guacamole comes pre-installed on the RabbitMQ appliance. This distributed architecture ensures scalability and security across private and public networks by offloading the heavy lifting of interpreting application profiles to local-to-cloud orchestrators and using a message broker service to allow VMs on private networks to still be able to receive management commands through a pull rather than push mechanism. Managed VMs deployed by CloudCenter have agents installed on them for executing code on their operating system. Installing the agents to create custom images is covered in other material and beyond the scope of this video. The documented order of installing these components and the order that will be followed in this video is the CCM and then RabbitMQ with Guacamole and CCO on each cloud. The environment used here already has the 3 required appliances uploaded and provisioned into the appropriate cloud locations, with static IP addresses and host names assigned and DNS records created. These steps should be completed and the information should be known before continuing with the installation in order to have the smoothest experience. Completing these tasks are outside the scope of this video. Here's the information for the systems in the environment that this video will be using. To start installing the CCM, SSH to the CCM. The default username and password is root and welcome, the number 2, and clicker, all lowercase. It's suggested that the root password is changed immediately for security. The first step is to install a database on the CCM by running the db install wizard script. This wizard will display the option to install either MySQL or MariaDB. Both are supported by CloudCenter but have different licensing restrictions. Once the installation is complete, exit the wizard and reboot the server. Access the CCM again and run the CCM config wizard script to install and configure the CloudCenter manager. If there's an email server or enterprise service bus available, this is where they would be optionally added. All that's required in this screen is to alter the configurations in the server info area. Add the DNS name or IP of the CCM, and because this is a simple installation without high availability, the same for the outface DNS field. If this were a high availability installation, the outface DNS field should be populated with the URL of the CCM load balancer that's in front of the multiple CCM machines. When complete, press OK and then exit the wizard. Once the service comes back up, it's a good time to test to make sure that the CCM is working by accessing it via the browser. The default username and password for the root tenant is admin@clickertech.com and clicker. The system is up and running, but before completing the walkthrough in order to set up CloudCenter, it's best to first install the CCO and RabbitMQ servers on the target clouds. To do this, SSH to the RabbitMQ machine. The default username, like the CCM, is root and welcome to clicker. It's recommended to change this password immediately. First, make sure the RabbitMQ server is configured with the correct users by running the list users command. As long as the clicker user is set to be the administrator, the system is configured correctly. Run the Guacamole config wizard script and provide either the CCM DNS name or IP address in the CCM info area. Do the same for the CCO in the CCO info area. Exit the wizard and let restart the server. Next is the SSH to the CCO machine to configure it. As with the previous appliances, the default username and password is root and welcome to clicker. It's recommended to change this password immediately. Run the CCO config wizard script and provide the AMQP server information first as the DNS or IP address. Since this is a simple installation, in the Guacamole area, provide the information for the AMQP server. In more complex installations, it is possible to have the Guacamole server outside of the AMQP server. Exit the wizard and let it restart the server. Once complete, reboot the machine. To test that the connection between the CCO and AMQP servers is working, access the AMQP server again and run the list connections command. This may not show information for up to 5 minutes after the CCO was restarted, but when successful, there should be a clicker user connection originating from the CCO IP address displayed. CloudCenter is now successfully installed. The next step is to access the system and begin configuring the connection between the CCM and the CCO appliance in the cloud.